When you ask for a lender to provide you with an interest rate quote, right next to that interest rate is another percentage, and that's the annual percentage rate, APR. And in today's video, I'm going to explain to you exactly what that is. My name is Duane Vizinau. I'm a national wholesale lender and a certified government underwriter. Let's get into it. Let's first talk about what APR is. An APR, or annual percentage rate, includes the interest rate plus many of the upfront financing costs spread out over the life of the loan. These are some of your closing costs, which are included in the APR. So you want to think of APR as the loan's true cost. Now, why does APR matter? Well, it matters because the APR helps compare loan options. If you're trying to get the best interest rate or the best and lowest payment and costs, then you want to know also what the APR is, because not only is the interest rate a factor, but the total cost of the loan of which you're coming out of pocket matters as well. And also, again, the lower rate doesn't always mean the lowest cost. And I'm going to show you an example on this presentation on how having the lowest rate can actually mean that you're having the most cost associated with that loan. And also, the fees and points affect the APR. All the fees, if you're paying points to lower your rate, you're buying down the rate, then those fees are going to impact your APR. And then lastly, APR provides a more complete picture associated with not only the mortgage payment, but also your closing costs. Because when you're buying a home, it's just not interest rate, it's also closing costs, down payment. All of these are factors. So the APR will provide you with a complete picture. Before we move forward, if you are seeking to get pre-approved, I'd love to assist. And since we're in the topic of APR, if you are an individual who's going through the process of purchasing or refinancing your home and you have a loan estimate or even some type of quote from a lender, then it helps to have a second opinion or a second quote, because that will tell you if you are getting the best rate, the lowest cost, all of the above. So if you do fit within this situation at this time, then feel free to scan that barcode to get pre-approved with me. You can also go to my website or click the link in the bio. And then after you get pre-approved, I can issue you a quote or a loan estimate, and we can figure out if you're getting a good deal or not. Interest rate versus APR. So the interest rate is the cost of borrowing the money. So the lender is charging you interest on the dollar amount that you're borrowing. This is not applicable to the fees and cost of the loan, just the dollar amount that you're borrowing. And the APR is the interest rate plus the certain finance charges, all the costs associated with the loan on top of the rate as a percentage. Now, there is a mathematical equation used to come up with the APR. I am not showing this in the video. It's great information, but what you really want to know is the percentage, the dollar amount, not how it's calculated, but comparing the interest rate with the APR will tell you exactly how much you're paying. And I'm going to show you that as an example as well. Also here, we have the APR will reflect the total cost of financing. Again, the fees and costs associated with the loan that you are applying for. And then lastly, the APR is usually higher than the interest rate, but let's say that the APR matches the interest rate, then that's a no-cost loan. So if you have a lender telling you that, yes, I'm going to do a no-cost loan with you, then that APR should be 100% matching the interest rate. If it's higher than the interest rate, then there's cost. And that's where you want to compare and see the loan estimate and compare with another lender's loan estimate. And then you can see which one and compare the cost, the fees associated with it to determine who's giving you the best loan option. All right, here we have two examples. So you can see here on example one, the interest rate is 6.5%, right? But the closing costs are $5,000, pretty low in costs. Now we're just using a figure of an APR because you need to have the loan amount and everything, but I'm just giving you an example. 6.68% we'll call the APR. So lower fees keep the APR closer to the rate. So you can see it's 6.5%. It's only up by 0.18 on the APR compared to the interest rate. But when you look at example two, the interest rate is 6.25%. But you can see the closing costs are double the amount from example one. Now, here we have the APR at 6.75%, a whole 0.5% higher than the interest rate. So you can see here where the lower rate, it's a lower rate, but the overall cost of the loan is higher. So the APR is higher even than the one on example one. So this is where you want to always ask or confirm what the APR is. Don't just say, what's your interest rate? Well, what's my cost? Because a lender could tell you, this is my rate. But if you don't ask them what the APR is, maybe that rate is associated with paying points. Maybe you have to pay a full point to get that rate down. And that's where the question on what my APR is really a question that you must ask. All right, here goes some key takeaways from the presentation here. So interest rate determines the payment, right? That's what the interest rate is going to do. It's going to tell you what your monthly payment is. Now, the APR includes the costs and fees. And that's where out-of-pocket fees, how much you're paying out of pocket, how much is being financed into the loan. Some loans you can finance points inside the loan, but it doesn't matter. You still want to look at that APR because they could be hiding the fees in your loan and telling you, yeah, you don't have to pay anything out of pocket because we're rolling that into your refinance. But the APR is going to tell you exactly if you are having to pay any costs associated with the life of the loan. And then also the APR is best for comparing loans. Again, that's how you are going to see if one lender is offering you the same rate. Let's say the two lenders are both offering you 6.5%, but then one has a lower APR than the other, then you know which one is giving you the better deal, the one with the same rate, but the lower APR. And then lastly, the lowest rate doesn't always mean cheapest cost. Again, there's points associated sometimes with interest rates. So that's why you don't just want to ask what your rate is. Get a full picture by getting maybe a fee worksheet. Fee worksheets aren't always the best either, but if you're in the beginning stage, you can ask for that. That'll give you an idea of the fees that lender charges. But a loan estimate, a locked loan estimate is a great way to compare, and that's what you want to do. There you go. APR, pretty self-explanatory. You can Google that equation if you'd like to see how that's calculated. I didn't go over that in this presentation, but you can look that up. Really, just get your loan estimate and see what the figure is. It's not important to know what that mathematical equation is. But if you do have a loan estimate and you'd like me to take a look at it, you want to get pre-approved with me and then have a discussion, you can scan that Zoom barcode and have a free 30-minute Zoom consultation with me. It doesn't cost you anything. There's also the link within my bio. There's also some additional videos and information if you'd like to go check out on my website. And please like and subscribe if you feel like this information was useful, and I'll see you on the next video.